play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with W Show Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday morning. We all back in here today. What's happening?
Yeah, back from Germany, huh?
Yeah, man. Ask me to speak German, and I will tell you no.
I bet you could speak in perfect Lizzie, can't you?
You know what? I did have a brat.
Yeah.
It was actually different in Germany, man.
Yeah.
Like I had one at the stadium. I was like, do I want to get one at the restaurant? Do I want to have it like, at the stadium where it's authentic? And yeah, I had one at the stadium. It was really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kind of jealous. I got Glizzy envy.
And I had no idea. So they had just like the regular brat, which is of course pork, and then they had beef, which looked totally different. And then they had there was another one which was like a spicy brat. And like the spicy brat was the first thing that sold out. I'm like, what am I missing out on? So I didn't get to try that one, but yeah.
That'd been funny if it was too spicy for you, but yeah.
And honestly, like they don't have like regular mustard. It's a different color.
It's like a gourmet mustard.
Yeah. It's not like your regular, like, what is it, Heinz? Yeah, is that a brand? Yeah, Heinz mustard. But no, I enjoyed it, man. It was really good. It was better than I expected.
And you said the drinks were different too, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fountain drinks were different than what we have here.
So I looked it up, and of course, Coke products, they make Fanta, they make Sprite, and everything like that. But the one standard, like they can change in variation throughout the world, but the one standard is always Coke, like regular Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always order just the regular Coke, and it was the same. Like Sprite was terrible. I had an apple juice. I can't remember the brand. But yeah, it tasted like syrupy.
Really?
Yeah.
Apple juice?
Mm-hmm.
Is that because you're supposed to drink beer when you're there? You think that's just pushing you more towards beer?
Probably. Yeah, probably. I had my fair share. I did. And I should have brought it to the studio today, but I brought a souvenir cup of it's like because the 1 liter is like their go-to beer. So you gotta if you get a beer, it's gotta be a 1 liter.
Sheesh, that's a lot of beer.
It's a handle, yeah. And so and it's called a Stein mug.
Yeah, the Steiners.
Yeah. So it's weird because we went to the American Royal and did an event there, and so the mug, they had like the Steiners, like it was contest basically. So whoever, you got to fill it all the way up to the brim and see how long you can actually hold your 1 liter mug out, and it's like solid glass. Yeah, that's the contest. So they do it over in Germany during Oktoberfest. And I think the longest person, it was like 20 minutes or something like that.
Jeez.
I lasted. I won. And I know Mike Lang's probably watching, but I won. He was in the contest with me, and I won. I lasted like 2.5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But you get to because your arm has to be straight. You can't spill the beer. You can't switch hands. It's like you're holding 1 liter out there, solid glass, and it's water or beer. It's supposed to be beer, but it's water.
You think that's what girls who carry Stanley Cups feel like all day?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. That's practice. That's practice.
Of course. Of course. We got a lot to talk about today. Of course, we'll talk about, being out in Germany and the Chiefs 21-14 win.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's surprising the Q, but we'll dive into that here in a little bit.
Yes.
Kansas City Sports Commission, they announced that there's going to be a Pro Volleyball Federation team that's coming to KC.
Love that.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And Sporting KC, they pulled off an upset to knock out St. Louis They knocked them out of the playoffs. That's surprising to some fans. They started up and down, at the beginning of the season, and now they're rocking and rolling.
Hey, it's go time now.
Exactly. And Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, their lawyers, argued that a dismissal for a player lawsuit. I can't wait to dive into that one. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week. Let's get to today's headlines.
Now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
NFL Week 9, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes threw 2 touchdowns, and the Chiefs hang on to beat the Dolphins 21-14 in Germany. Obviously, Steve got to be there to see it firsthand, but Q, how do you feel about this one?
Q, how do you feel, Q?
They thwarted my plan. I was hoping for I was really just hoping for a 3-game skid. I expected them to split the series with the Broncos. And I really wasn't expecting the Broncos to win that game. But then them traveling to Germany, and I thought the pressure would be too much, especially how the offense is stalling. But the defense really stepped up, which is surprising to me over the last, well, not really surprising to me over the last couple of years, but I thought the Dolphins would be a lot better and be able to put up more points than 14. I wasn't expecting a 14-point output. I was expecting at least each team to score at least 20 points. But yeah, I was hoping they lost that game so they'd be down in the pits next week against the Eagles for their 3rd loss in a row. And I mean, the defense just showed up. So I applaud everyone. And even, Justin Reed, like, it feels like he's one of the leaders of the defense. I won't say the leader because that's probably Chris Jones. But it feels like Justin is able to make these guys step up. I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems like he has that fire, but then also that relationship with everybody in the defensive room that just makes it cohesive. And I wasn't expecting the Chiefs to have a defense that performs this well against, teams that are a lot faster, a lot quicker. So, applaud the defense for real.
I piggyback off what Q said. I think the defense was definitely the key in this game. I think we have a play that I felt like was the deciding factor in the game. Let's see it.
Tua out to Hill, and that goes nowhere. Ball's loose. It is loose and picked up and lateraled. Brian Cook. Touchdown. Kansas City.
What a play is right. Trent McDuffie making the tackle, is able to strip that thing out of there. That was unbelievable. Mike Edwards does a great job. He can't get any more yardage. Here, Brian Cook, you take it and get the ball, and it's your turn to run it down the sideline. What a turn of events right there.
Yeah, I mean, you see Tyreek Hill, of all people, were stripped by Trent McDuffie, and I think Tyreek, they showed because they had Tyreek mic'd up. They had, I believe, Patrick, Chris Jones, all of those guys mic'd up during the game. And I don't know who shared it or who released this footage, but they showed Tyreek pre-snap talking to Trent. Like, Trent, I know you ain't guarding nobody. Come on over here, guard me. You ain't never guarded nobody like me. And so they showed the snap. And they showed Trent running because Trent was guarding, he was shadowing Tyreek.
Yeah.
And so it's like, Trent, come on, push up on the line. And you saw him, of course, Trent get after him. And I guess he didn't read the scouting report. Trent McDuffie has been ranked the #1 corner by Pro Football Focus for the entire season so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill talked about the play after the game.
You know, it's been going crazy about this fumble. Are you running from anything associated with that play?
No, I'm totally not, man. I just want people to understand football. I've had a lot of support in my teammates, my coaches, and that's all I'm going to say. We all know what happened. It is what it is.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I can say it?
Yeah.
Get your rule book, people. I'm going to leave it at that.
That's all you got to say, man. It's a very touchy situation, man, because I don't point fingers at nobody. My job is to play ball and let the players play, let the coaches coach, just go out there and do my thing, man, and just still be supportive. At the end of the day, I got to hold on to the ball. I don't care if the man's not blocked. That's my mindset. I don't care if I got 0.3 seconds to make a move. I still got to find a way to make him miss and hold on to the ball. That's just me. That's just my mindset.
We approach issues and subjects head on. We don't care about all that. We ain't avoiding nothing.
Yeah, it's Cedric Wilson's fault, though. Nah, let me stop. Shout out to my boy Sid, man.
Let it be known, I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stop.
Yeah, so excuses. That was an excuse.
Yeah.
He said that, oh, well, we ain't gonna talk about what happened. We're gonna leave that up to the refs or whatever he said. I'm like, that was an excuse. You got stripped.
Well,
my boy.
no, and I think
and no shade to Tyreek.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to say is that per the rule book that wasn't a catch and it should have been an incompletion. Because I mean, if we're going by the NFL rule book, you're supposed to complete the catch and make a football move before anything. Now, it could be argued, yeah, you made the catch. Yeah. You took a couple of steps, so he was just on him right away. So it's one of those bang, bang plays. Like, yeah, you should have held on to the ball. And I think that's what he was saying. Like, it wasn't really him putting an excuse out there. I think he has an argument for it to not be a catch. But both players held the ball. So the ball stayed still. So I'm considering that possession. I'm not saying that, but I think part of that is you see why certain teams make it an actual bubble screen.
Yeah, of
like
course.
you drop back about 2-3 yards. So that way it gives you some momentum running forward. I think they just wanted to get a quick playoff, and hopefully Tyreek was able to bounce around his eye. But I mean, Trent McDuffie read it. And I'm sure you could tell the Chiefs were prepared. I won't say for their entire playbook, but they were prepared for all of their bread and butter.
And I asked Mike Edwards, who you saw had recovered the fumble and tossed the ball back to his teammate. And I asked him after the game, and I said, "Well, you play," because of course Mike Edwards was in Tampa through the Super Bowl and has played Tyreek Hill a few times. And I said, well, how much did the game plan, kind of mirror what you guys did in Tampa? Of course, they played the cover 2 shell high, 2 safeties up, and had a mirror on Tyreek and kind of did some different things. Of course, Spags is going to read that plus add his own little, thing to it. And he said, yeah, we looked at everything to make sure we had everything right. And even going back to the beginning of the season and saw, because I think they lost to the Eagles, they lost to the Bills. I can't remember the other team that they lost to. But he said we looked at all that film and just tried to mimic what they did. But I feel like the defense and what they wanted to do, get after Tua, make it tough for them on 3rd down, which is what they did. I don't think, if I'm correct, I want to say they only converted 2 3rd downs or 3 3rd downs, something like that, which is huge.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
A lot of the bigger 3rd downs they didn't convert. And I mean, you saw Chris Jones getting after him, Charles Omenihu getting after him. So when you look at it as a whole in this defense, I feel like they was out there balling.
Definitely. And even on social media and everything, with Travis stating that it's like this may be the best defense that he's seen. Do you think that's true?
I do. I mean, from what we've seen some cold deep, like going back into the 90s, like you see some cold defense with Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, who was Dale Carter, all those guys. Now, fast forward to now, I feel like I think it's yet to be seen, because I think it's still a little early. Like if now say this defense goes out, and we saw what they did last year with the Eagles. We saw that game. If they go out there and shut out the Eagles going up into the 3rd quarter, I would say yes. This is, because the Eagles they have a lot of firepower. I mean, AJ Brown, you got their running back, you have a lot of firepower. QB.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah. So if they go out there because they're key, they don't want to just win and beat you on. They want to shut you out like 0.
Right.
So if they're able to go out there and do that, and then go on to play the Raiders, and string on a bunch of wins, and this defense still looks good, yes, I would say yes. But right now, it's kind of, I would say that 90s defense with Derrick Thomas and Neil Smith is still up there with my top defense, but they just didn't have an offense, to win.
At all. They didn't have an offense at all.
I feel like if they're able to do that, then right, then I would say yes. But right now, they're trending toward that. If that makes sense, I ain't trying to dodge your question, but yeah, they're trending towards being one of the best defenses.
Q, your thoughts?
I mean, I wouldn't say the best, not yet. I think it's still early. That Dolphins team, I think they just had their number. And again, they thwarted my plan because I'm expecting the Dolphins to be a Super Bowl contender. And after seeing that game, I don't see it yet. But a lot of times, just like the Chiefs in 2019, they had to lose to Tennessee during the season, so they can figure out how to bring things together. Can the Dolphins do that? I don't know. We haven't seen that. Tua wasn't healthy the majority of the season last year, so this year is kind of like their first year together, but that's still no excuse. Like this second year, they should be able to put it together, but I think a lot of it, deals with not having a veteran in the locker room, like Tyreek talking to guys. And I mean, the podcast is fine. I don't have no issue with podcasts, but when you get to talking smack and all that, like I get it, but like do something first.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the issue. Like Tyreek hasn't done something against the Chiefs spectacular that he was doing while he was here. So they just thwarted all my plans. So I hate it. But I mean, the defense did step up like crazy. So.
And I think kind of back to your point about Tyreek, I think that clip and him kind of making an excuse or dodging it in a way was like this whole time he made such an uproar, even going into it, like you said, even mic'd up going into the play.
Yep, own it.
And now you're piped down, you're quiet, and it's like, okay, like say it with your chest, just like you were saying everything this whole time.
Yes.
I just it's hard to swallow for me. Like I'm like, you got to say more than that since you made all this uproar this entire time.
Yeah. And you know what too? He even like the week leading up to it, I was looking, forward to the Chiefs. They were going to see what they want to say, right? Tyreek, of course, came out. Yeah, this Chiefs defense gonna get this work. Like that's what he said. They gonna get this work. And when somebody say they gonna get this work, and normally like in basketball terms, that means you putting up 25, 30.
You gotta show out.
And in football terms, you scoring a touchdown 100 yards.
Going on.
Tyreek didn't even have 50 yards. He had 48, I believe. No touchdowns. Fumble. I feel like that fumble cost them the game.
Yeah, it was momentum.
Yeah.
Of course, momentum shift.
Yeah. And then that fumble gave the Chiefs defense more confidence. And that's the thing you don't want a team to have. And especially when it's two contending teams in the AFC, when you're playing each other, you don't want a team to gain that confidence. And I'm sure if Tyreek takes that play and maybe busts it for a long run, not a touchdown, the game looks a little different because it's a momentum changing play. So the Chiefs at every turn took their momentum away. And that was a tough thing watching the game because you're expecting at some point the Dolphins will like turn it on, and they didn't.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong too. I feel like Tyreek, there were some plays that Tua just overthrew him.
Yeah.
Like there was some ones that if Tyreek would have caught some of those passes, and they would have been just like dimes. Mm-hmm. Oh, of course he would have been torching the team. But of course you still gotta it works twofold. Like you gotta have the correct throw and you gotta be able to catch it. So and I blame Tua. Tua is better than Patrick.
I was about to say, didn't he say it earlier in the season that Tua is better than Patrick? I don't know how that works.
And I think his exact words more accurate than Patrick.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, Kansas City did announce there's a new squad coming to town. A new Pro Volleyball Federation market is approaching. Steve, what are your thoughts about this one?
I think it's dope. Again, we see the effects of, we talk about the Chiefs, a winning team. we see the effects of the Kansas City Current and that new stadium that they have. It's just, and I don't want to just, put it all on Patrick Mahomes, but it's the Patrick Mahomes effect. Because everything that's happening in this city right now, he has his hands in. Whether it's ownership with the Royals, they're getting ready to move. Whether it's ownership in Sporting KC, look, I mean, they're in the playoffs. So we even saw Messi before he went to Miami talk about, Kansas City was possibly a spot. Also, the Kansas City Current, his wife, Brittany Mahomes, has part ownership in that. So I feel like it's the effect of Patrick Mahomes, them winning the Super Bowl, now playing in Frankfurt, them having the world stage, winning the Super Bowl. I mean, so many stars, Taylor Swift. So it's all on him, I feel like.
Well, and I have to give credit to like the power of women in women's sports too, because I think just as much as it's Patrick, it's Brittany pushing that and showing that, like, bringing the attention that women's sports can get traction and bring in money. And even, I mean, we talked about it not too long ago when they hosted the volleyball game in the football stadium and packed the house. I think it's slowly just starting to fall into the right place. And I think it was only a matter of time for women, and it doesn't surprise me. And I kind of have to brag on my Washburn Ichabods a little bit.
Okay.
Because my junior year, I believe they were undefeated until like the quarterfinals or something like that. So we had a great team, and that was even dope. Like, there really is a following for volleyball and a scene for that. And so I think that would be super cool, especially coming from a school that's near here, I mean, we're not too far. We were in Topeka, to see that leak over and see those girls have opportunities even after, because I know we talked about with softball and baseball too, like what are opportunities for women to go pro with softball? Like if they, or after college, what do you do next?
What can you do?
Is it? I mean, I don't think it's not in the Olympics, or maybe they just added softball to the Olympics. Did they?
I didn't see.
I don't know, but other than that, I'm like, for those sports, it's dope to see them have new pro opportunities to go to the next level even after college.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think women are allowed to play in the new flag football in the Olympics.
Nice.
So that's gonna be dope.
We're coming for you. Girl power.
That's cool. Yeah.
Q, your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I like it. I like to see these different professional sports becoming a thing here. Seeing the start of it. I was very young when we had an NBA team, and I want to say the Kings might have moved out a little bit after I was born. So I didn't get that experience. But like Steve said, I think the front end of that, yes, is Patrick Mahomes, but a lot of it starts with just that championship mentality for the city. You had the Royals on their run, which, quite frankly, I think woke up the Chiefs front office, because it's like, hey, we've got this team across the parking lot that's doing major things over 2-3 seasons, and we're over here not stinking it up, but
they weren't good.
They were a playoff team.
You look at that 2012 Chiefs team, 2012, they were 2-14.
12, but I'm talking about when was the Royals run? 14, 15, 16,
13, 14, 15.
Yeah. So you look at that era, they were a decent team.
And let me back you up real quick. I think it started in 2013. Sporting won the MLS Cup,
and that's what I'm saying.
And then
you have the Sporting winning championships. Then you look at the Royals winning championship. Well, winning a championship, but then going to the World Series. And even in that realm of things, we had the MLB All-Star game. So there was a lot of like momentum coming into Kansas. So yes, it took.
When was that? Is that 2014?
That was 2013 or 14.
Was it 14? I think it was 14.
It was, yeah. But you have a lot of momentum for the city. So yes, the Chiefs needed to do something. They needed to get cool, because the Chiefs were not a cool team. But then you bring in Travis, you bring in Patrick,
Andy first in 2013.
But you bring in these different personalities on the team that can grow into, I mean, what it is now. And yes, they've handled business over the last 4 or 5 seasons to be able to make Kansas City a part of the conversation for the draft, for these different not sporting, but current, now a volleyball program. Like there's a lot of energy brewing around this sports town. I mean, even just outside of here, we have 1,000 cheerleaders running around, and they're not cheering just for each other; they're cheering for actual teams. So it's good to see a lot of the sports town that we've always clamored to be. It's good to see it like come to life.
Definitely.
And the ownership of this, I think they're Kansas City natives. They went to University of Kansas, Missy and Kent. I believe their last name is Missy and Kent McCarthy. Mm-hmm. So the team is supposed to start in 2025. 12 teams. So I feel like it'll be dope.
Super dope. Now, Sporting's also taking care of business. Sporting KC pulled off the upset to knock St. Louis out of the playoffs. Like Steve said, I think this came as a surprise for a team that didn't start out too hot.
Yeah.
But of course, we love to see it. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
They started off bad. Like when you think about the fact that they were beginning of the season, I said this, I think it was on 41 Sunday Sound Off, maybe about a month or so ago, before the playoffs even started. He asked me, he was like, hey, what do you think about Sporting going forward? Will they make the playoffs? And I'm like, if you think about just how Sporting KC's head coach, Peter Vermees, and how he gets his players to run through a wall for him, right? Like you will understand the fact that they may be losing now, but look at the totality of everything. They had injuries. They had players who went to Europe of course, to play. Now they get those guys back. Everyone's healthy. So they rolling. And now all those fans that were fire coach Vermees, we need to get different players. We need this. What was going on? They're all looking. They all got mud on their face, right? So they go on to beat the number one team. Like St. Louis has been ranked number one in the MLS for the whole season. Yeah. Yeah. And they were ranked number one on the western side of the bracket as well. And so Sporting KC strolls in there as the A seed. Really should have been somewhere middle of the road had they, had their team together throughout the season. But that A seed, they got shocked. I mean, it's best out of three. Sporting went in there, played them here 2 Sundays ago, beat them, and then went over to St. Louis, beat them again, and it wasn't even a game. Like,
yeah.
Well, the first one wasn't even close. It was 4-1.
Right.
So
right.
They obviously are doing something right.
Of course. And I feel like, and Jazz, I want to ask you, like, how tough is it, in soccer to be down all season, then come back and be ready in full motion and full swing and ready to go?
Oof. It's definitely tough especially when soccer is such a low scoring game anyways.
Yeah.
So if you can't find the back of the net, that's like defeating. That's frustrating the whole season. And of course, like we've talked about before, soccer's obviously a lot of momentum and staying healthy and stuff like that because it's a fluid game. You're playing 90 minutes. And so just to get constantly defeated and not have any gratification of finding the back of the net is tough. It's definitely tough. And then just as much as you trying to find the back of the net, it's chemistry too. Like if you're not used to scoring goals, how can you find the back of the net in the end of the season?
Right.
And so I've definitely been there and with my different teams, of course, through the years. Once you kind of click and get that momentum, it's easy to keep in soccer. But the hardest part, because it is so fluid, is finding that rhythm and knowing what to do. And so I think this is even more of a testament to how good they're doing to be able to just pick it up at the end of the season.
But and in soccer, I know it's a little bit different than basketball, and you play both. When you find the rhythm and you get one go through, does that kind of create that domino effect of like, all right, yeah, I saw one go through, so now it's kind of just keep going. We're gonna keep going.
Definitely, because again, like I said, it's chemistry. It's not. I mean, with basketball, it's a very X's and O's. You run a play, you know that you're gonna drive to the right and you're gonna find the rim. Like in soccer, you can't just draw that play up every single time and know that it's gonna go that way every single time. And so I think that was kind of the beauty in it and why I enjoyed soccer more, because it was so fluid and you have like the opportunity to be more creative, but it is such a rhythm to where you can't just guarantee that you're gonna score on this play every single time.
Gotcha.
But it makes it fun. It makes for fun.
And it looks fun. Like, and as much as I like soccer, you couldn't get me running up and down. No way, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and that's a whole different like point of defeat too, because like you said, if I know in basketball I'm winded, but I know on this inbounds play, like it's coming to me, I'm gonna have the drive, and I make this every time. Yeah. It's a different type of motivation than like I'm just running, hoping I can find the back of the net in 90 minutes. Like it's definitely a totally different mindset, but I think honestly it helped me going both ways, flipping between the two, because then in basketball, I think I was able to be, even with plays, I was still able to be creative with it. Yeah. And then in soccer, I was able to still like find a balance of being systematic, but still being creative.
Of course.
You know, so it kind of went back and forth, oddly.
And crazy thing about it too is, so when Sporting played a Sunday here, it was like 3 p.m., 3:30 or something like that. Well, it was like midnight, 1 a.m, and I was trying to find the game, and I got YouTube TV, but it's blocked overseas, so you can't watch which is crazy. I'm looking, figuring out, because you got those sites that you can go to, those sites that you can go and watch different sporting events on, but
they're all on X. Yeah, look for them on X.
Well, I went to, and all those sites are blocked over there, so I feel like it's some mess. There's some stuff going on.
Beef.
So I was asking at the hotel, at the restaurant, hotel bar, and I was like, well, can you guys turn on the soccer game? They're like, soccer? What is soccer? And I'm like, the soccer. So I was like, football. I was like, football. Football. And the whole bar was like, football. So it was crazy, but we got to watch it in the bar.
Yeah. Not you forgot. Yeah. Forgot where you was.
And I'm sure it was like even more of a lit environment there, because they are like, football there is our football here.
Of course. It's everything.
Like they're fully invested in
it's everything. Yeah.
So I'm sure that was dope. Now Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin lawyers argue for the dismissal of a player lawsuit. An Ole Miss defensive tackle, DeSanto Rollins, who said he was kicked off the team for missing practices and meetings during a mental health crisis, is suing the university and Kiffin for failure to provide equal protection. I know you're excited to talk about this one, Steve. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's hear from Lane Kiffin real quick, because I think this is where it's going to start.
If you would have come here when you kept getting messages, the head coach wants to talk to you, and you saying, I'm not ready to talk to him.
I wasn't.
Well, what world do you live in?
I don't see why you gotta be disrespectful, honestly.
Get out of here. Go, you're off the team. You're done. See ya.
Because
See ya. Go. And guess what? We can kick you off the team. So go read your rights about mental health. We can kick you off the team for not showing up. When the head coach has to meet with you and you don't show up for weeks, okay, we can remove you from the team. It's called being a pussy. It's called hiding behind and not showing up to work.
And I want to preface this before I go in real quick. Mental health is like top, right? Like mental health is very important. And I don't feel like Lane Kiffin addressed it. The thing about him kicking him off the team wasn't about mental health. It was about him taking responsibility. He's a young adult. And I'll let you guys know. So backstory. So on February 27th, Rollins met with Lane Kiffin, who informed Rollins he was moving from defensive tackle to scout team's offensive line because he wouldn't, so that he wouldn't transfer. Right. So according to the lawsuit, Rollins asked Kiffin if that was a choice or a command, and Rollins alleged that Kiffin told him if he didn't like it, then he should quit. So at that point, Rollins told Kiffin he was going to take a mental break, according to the lawsuit. So Rollins, despite separate requests, repeated requests for the football staff to go meet with Lane Kiffin until March 21st, Rollins basically said that he's not meeting with them, and he just, was MIA. So then he comes in finally and says, hey, I'm here. I want my spot. And then goes in and secretly records the conversation. And Lane Kiffin is like, man, we've requested to speak with you. Where in America or in the world does it work where you can just, ignore your boss for 3 weeks and then come in and say, I'm here, I'm ready. I was on a mental health break. So there's a little gray area there, but I feel like Rollins was wrong. Because granted, you can take a health break, but at some point you have to inform your employer that, hey, this is what I'm doing. You just can't disappear.
And in his defense too, I understand that, yes, when you are going through a mental health crisis or going through anything, sometimes, and everybody deals with things differently, the hardest thing is to communicate and be vulnerable and let people know. And and going into that, if his coach had already kind of put him, like he had said, is this a command or is this asking of me? Like, how do you, so when he goes into that next conversation, how does he feel? Like, is he going to be heard? Is he going to be validated? Because from the jump, that doesn't sound like a coach that really looked at you as a human being. It looked at you as, you're a football player. This is a command. And so I think I kind of have to defend Rollins on this one. Like, going into that, he already felt like he wasn't being heard. He wasn't being respected. He wasn't being talked to like an adult and validating his emotions. So why should I once again open up to you because that, hey, I'm going through something? Like, is that going to be another fight? Or, and he already had said, okay, we're doing this so that you don't transfer anywhere. So he doesn't really care about what he thinks about the situation. So why should I open up to you once again and be vulnerable? I don't know. I think that's a hard call for somebody for Rollins' position. I don't want to say that he's in the wrong.
And I feel, and I also, on top of that, I think when he went in and talked with Lane Kiffin, Kiffin told him, like, hey, because Rollins didn't want to transfer. He's like, I want to stay here. Well, Lane Kiffin's like, hey, we're going to move you. If there's somebody better than you, then there's somebody better than you. Then you're going to be moving a scout team. And then he said, well, is that a request, or is that, are you basically making me move there? Well, if your coach is asking you to do something, then that's definitely not a request. He's telling you that this is what you're going to do. You're not going to go back and forth with your coach. He's already made up his mind if he's telling you that. And then for you to go and say, hindsight, oh, well, I need to take a mental break. Okay, I get it. But if you're going to do that, let me know. Like, if you're going to say, oh, I'm going to take a mental break, what is it because of? And I get it. Like, HIPAA, you don't have to go into all the details and all that. But, hey, at least let me know. Let me know something. Don't just disappear and then show up and expect, oh, well, can I get my spot back? Because that's not how, in reality, that's not how real life works.
I mean, I'm with Jazz, I think, on this. Because, for one, like, a lot of coaches, and I think Lane Kiffin is this coach. I think Lane Kiffin is this coach that he learned the rule with an iron fist type of leadership. And that type of leadership has been out the door, especially in football, for the last, 7-8 years. So you can't lead like that. And then to take a prospect, I'm guessing this kid is a prospect. This is a D1 school. You're taking a prospect and switching him from offense to defense. So yes, now you're asking him to make the team a priority, which we do for most players in sports. Like, you have to make the team the priority. But if your strengths you feel are on offense versus on defense, going to defense takes your confidence away. So now you're taking this kid's confidence away at the D1 level. I don't know what year he is. He's classified, but if he's a young player, I'm guessing he's, within like the sophomore, freshman range. I think that's a lot to ask, and especially in the middle of the season. So yes, he takes a mental health break, but like Steve said, you have to communicate. But if I'm on Rollins' end, I feel like Lane Kiffin didn't make that space comfortable enough between them for him to have those conversations with him. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to go let my head cool off, because I have those moments. I've gotten older to the point where if I have a moment where I want to say something or I want to do something that's emotionally charged, just try to step back for a little while. And I think that's what he did. Now, he could have had a parent or somebody communicate. I think that's where he messed up. But this is also learning. Like, we're talking about college kids here. We're not talking about adults that know how to handle these things. And there's no guidebook on how to handle Lane Kiffin as a coach when y'all don't get along or whatever they have. So I think there's fault on both sides. But I think Lane Kiffin, being the adult and the experienced professional, in this situation, you need to learn how to handle different players and their personalities. And he doesn't do that. And that's why he's not a successful coach. I mean, you could look, he tried it in the NFL
with the Raiders.
The power dynamic there was way off. And I think that's what it is. Like, Lane Kiffin is one of those coaches that he's not that good, so his power dynamic has to be through the roof. He has to rule over everything. You better listen to everything that he says. You better do it as he
most
says.
Coaches are like that. Yeah.
And I won't say most, because I mean you have your Andy Reids, your Bruce Arians, your
one of the top tier ones though.
But that's what I'm saying. You get to be top tier because you know how to manage these different personalities. So when you have your Lane Kiffins that come from the schools of like the Tom Coughlins and the very like iron-fisted military style, you're just going to fall in line. You can't do that in today's game. And you have to figure out how to like maneuver.
Yeah, and with the secretly recording the conversation, I feel like he went in there with I'm going to get you type mentality.
Well, I mean, a part of that could also be that Lane Kiffin has said some things in one moment,
maybe,
and then totally switched gears the next moment. So, and that's what I think it is. Like, he came in there recording because it's like, hey, I'm gonna have this in good faith.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. On top of that, you got this young man who has probably been told yes his whole life. Because he's better than, you know, most of the kids in high school growing up or whatever, bigger than everybody else. And now the rejection part of it, he's not okay with that, and he doesn't know how to take rejection. So now he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna do what I can do, and I don't know what his family life is like. I'm not gonna sit up here and say 2-parent home, 1-parent, whoever. But it just seems like to me he just doesn't know how to take rejection. And then his first thing to do is just run.
Yeah.
So
now Michigan's Jim Harbaugh will not coach rest of regular season as punishment for in-person scouting operation. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
It's real interesting because this is really deep. When you look at it, they were caught, I guess, sign stealing. That's how they got their wins. Yeah. And accused. Like, there's been no investigation. There's been no like anything. So the Big Ten stepped in, which is their conference that they're in. The Big Ten stepped in and said, hey, we're removing you from the rest of the remaining games, which is 3 games that are left on the season. We're removing you from those games until we figure it out. No, where does that work? Like, how are you just going to say, oh, I'm going to remove the coach, and they're still in contention for national title?
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
okay. So you have, and now it's like the players are in an uproar. Social media is going crazy behind this. But yeah, the Big Ten said he's been found in violation of Big Ten sportsmanship policy for conducting impermissible in-person scouting operation over multiple years, resulting in unfair competitive advantage that compromised the integrity of competition.
Now, I saw the video with the assistant coach or whatever with the glasses that record.
Yeah.
I just thought it was people being funny. So this is really
real deal.
Oh.
Yeah, but how much does that equate to wins, though? Like, you still have to go out there and play the game. I mean, I'm mad Broderick isn't here because the New England Patriots won a lot of games.
I was gonna say you had a different tune when the Patriots were accused of cheating.
Yes, and the Deflategate, the filming other teams' practices. We don't know how long that's been going on, right? So now you get this, and it's like, man, come on. The Patriots got a slap on the wrist. Yeah.
It's timely that they only have 3 games left. Like you said, they're still in contention. Like, over allegations, we have no confirmed information, do we?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But we don't have public information, because if they've already investigated this and then removed him, they found something.
Yeah.
True.
That's the thing. That it's an ongoing investigation. Like, they haven't completed the investigation yet.
They found something.
It has to be big.
Because they said the disciplinary action right now, they found something.
But I mean, you get all these other coaches in various sports, right?
Don't get caught.
That cheat.
Don't get caught.
That cheat. Come on.
Now, and we were just talking about timely, so I think it's funny on this next topic that Steve had to slide this one in there.
Oh, you know I had to do it.
And of course, he put these in sync with each other. Bill Self signs admitted rolling 5-year contract that makes him the highest paid coach in college basketball. Steve, how do you feel?
Shout out to Bill Self. Kudos to Bill Self. Where's the
Hold on.
where's the applause? Shout out to Bill Self.
So wait a minute. They gave him a lifetime contract.
They did.
As they should.
After all the dust settled.
They did.
From the cheating allegations.
They did.
Oh, okay.
Steve, you'll just be a hater all your life.
I'm definitely gonna.
A hater's gonna be a hater all day.
Shout out to Bill Self because I've been saying this. Anytime that University of Kansas needs anything, they put Bill Self out in front of it. Like if they need a donation from the city of Kansas City, where Bill Self gonna march right down there and talk to Quentin Lucas, like, hey, can we line our pockets, right? But he's won. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah,
he's a winner.
At all, yeah,
he's a winner. He's coached a bunch of young men. So I can't take that away from him. He's deserving of it. No matter what I say about the University of Kansas, right? Like he's very deserving of it.
Thank you. I know that tasted like vinegar, but I appreciate it. on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss the Raiders' Davante Adams. Keep it locked in. This is W Show. We'll be right back.
Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Your loved ones matter the most. Take the burden away by pre-planning personal arrangements that fit you and your family perfectly. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services will be here to comfort your family and take special requests. Plan and feel confident your loved ones will be less stressed and can console each other in their time of need. We will be here when you need us at 816-231-GATE or visit kcgoldengate.com. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocery, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
A little too excited to remind you all about our Talk About It. Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag Talk About It. Message us. We'll talk about whatever topic you want, especially the Jayhawks and Bill Self.
I ain't a hater. I'm just telling y'all, I'm not a hater.
Rock chalk. Now, Raiders' Davante Adams promises it's going to be better now after Josh McDaniels' exit. Let's hear from Davante Adams first.
Hey, let's you guys get back on that winning track yesterday. Gotta rub it up. That ain't sticky, bro.
You win yesterday?
Section 312, ran at 50, man.
It's gonna be better now.
I can tell already, man. I love it, man.
Appreciate you.
First of all, how the ref gonna go up to the guy and say, I'm in section 312, right on the 50, man. He's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be better now. Get out of here.
I mean,
Raiders are still going Raider. I'm sorry.
I mean,
shout out to Devontae Adams.
I think Lane Kiffin comes from this cloth of coaches. Like, it's just things feel better after they're gone. So,
but is it a quick flip of the switch like that? Like all of a sudden, it's
we saw it
that much better.
We saw them win. We saw a team rally behind a coach that they want to play for.
Can they string together too?
I mean, they probably could. I would like to see them do it. But I mean, Josh McDaniel, he just needs to be maybe not out of the league. He needs to be out of head coaching. He needs to be a quarterback coach or a special teams coach. I don't know what he needs to be, but it's not a head coach or an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, seeing what he said, I mean, it's just showing how much that these star players have a hold on their team. Like, if he's not happy, nobody's gonna be happy.
Mm-hmm.
They play the Jets this week, so we'll see.
It'll probably be a good game.
Okay.
Pull is pull. Now keep it locked in. We will be right back and dive into our Hate It or Love It segment.
To the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Your loved ones matter the most. Take the burden away by pre-planning personal arrangements that fit you and your family perfectly. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services will be here to comfort your family and take special requests. Plan and feel confident your loved ones will be less stressed and can console each other in their time of need. We will be here when you need us at 816-231-GATE or visit kcgoldengate.com, exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com. Purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
It's time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 5 Midnight Navies.
I like these. You just think about all the classic colors. This isn't a classic like Jordan color. I need some navy blue shoes, so these are fire. I wish I could get them.
I don't know if I like these.
No?
Yeah.
What?
They're not giving what they're supposed to give, I don't think.
All right.
There's no pop. There's just,
I want more from this, and I don't know what, but it's not doing it for me.
And I'm normally not the blue and black guy. Like, I don't wear blue and black together. Like, I just don't like it. But these are fire.
I'll pass. The Air Jordan 11 Neapolitans.
So what makes these Neapolitans? I thought these were, what was these called before?
Concords.
Concords.
Not Concords. These are Neapolitan because the Concords had the like bluish color bottom.
The bottom.
The photo doesn't give of like white. These are really off white. It's supposed to be like Neapolitan ice cream.
Oh,
Neapolitan.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They fire though. I've seen them.
I'll give him mid.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see him in person because they
look really dope in person.
They're not giving to me.
Yeah.
Fair.
They be dope. What you got on right now, Jess?
Maybe.
Okay.
My favorites this week: the Nike Dunk Low Premium Tweed Corduroy.
Fire.
Oh, these are your faves?
Yeah, those are definitely my faves. If I'm gonna go navy, like Steve's talking about the navy wave, I think that's a dope color wave.
Okay.
I'd rock those. Nike Dunk Low Women's Red Stardust.
These are my favorites of the week right here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I like those. I dig them.
And since we talking about dunks, we last week, I don't know if y'all remember, but remember the Dusty Brown, Dusty shoe we were talking about last week?
Yes.
So I saw a dude in the barbershop yesterday. And he had him
dusty.
on. No, he had him on. I was like, oh, you got on the Dusty Browns. He looked at me and I was like, that's the name of the shoe, bro. Like, come on.
See, we knew it.
I told y'all, you can't go calling somebody's shoes
Dusty. Yeah. Nah, that just it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
We called that. They kind of set us up to fail on that one, though.
Exactly.
Now, Mavericks announcer Brian Damaris goes off on James Harden. Let's hear what he had to say.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room so I can talk to you, James. I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because, listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night? They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say?
Yeah. Why James Harden make him so upset? Like, what'd he do?
I mean, that was a truth pill though. Like,
man,
sheesh.
look, yeah.
But that's the
Hey, James.
that's the other end of like I think a trend that maybe LeBron started, you know, being able to demand so much from a franchise.
Yep.
But then he backs it up by taking them to the finals.
Yeah.
James Harden backs it up by not playing defense. Like,
I guess Q we know what side Q chooses.
nah, I love this because you have to, like we talked with Tyreek, you have to produce.
Now the Atlanta Hawks hype up in-season tournament with OnlyFans inspired video.
What?
Immediately get roasted by Trae Young. Let's see the video.
Only Hawks fans know where the real action is. Only Hawks fans know what they really want to see. And only Hawks fans know just where to get it. The all-new NBA in-season tournament. Join in and wake up your wild side. Hot 5-on-5 action.
That is
That's funny.
hilarious.
Man, what are y'all doing down there in Atlanta? Come on.
That's
Man, shout out to
hilarious.
all my Atlanta people watching this morning.
Nah, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Different breed.
And you see all these teams that are trying to promote, the in-season tournament. This is where the Hawks landed. OnlyFans.
I rock with it. That's funny.
It was different. It was different.
Yeah. So we appreciate everyone who watched in on today's show. Remember, you can interact with us. Use hashtag talk about it. You can message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Until next week, we are out of here.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed of the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.